There is something I need to tell you today, and I need you to listen carefully because what I am about to share isn't meant for everyone. It is not a broadcast sent out to the masses or some general proclamation scattered across the world like seeds on barren ground. No, this message has been carried to you specifically, on this particular day, in this exact moment when your heart needed to hear it most. You, not your neighbor, not your family members, not the people sitting in the pews beside you on Sunday mornings. You and I need you to understand something critical right now. This isn't about reading these words and setting them aside to contemplate later when life feels less overwhelming, less crushing, less desperate. You have been given a window of time to respond, to acknowledge what you are hearing, to step into something that heaven itself has prepared specifically for your breaking point, 21 minutes. That is the window. Not because of some arbitrary number, but because heaven doesn't operate on the world's timeline. It operates on the urgency of your soul's readiness. It operates on the thickness of the barriers you have built around your heart. 2 angels have been dispatched from the throne room itself, not as some metaphorical flourish or poetic embellishment, but as real emissaries of divine intervention. They have been sent because I have seen enough. The waiting is over. I have watched you carry this weight, and I am moving now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances align perfectly, or when you feel more prepared or more worthy or more spiritually clean. Right now, in this very moment, this is your alarm clock disguised as words on a page, wrapped carefully in kindness so you will not miss it. The darkness that has been making you feel trapped, that suffocating sense that you have been abandoned, that nobody sees your silent suffering. That darkness has a breaking point. And heaven has come specifically to shatter those lies that whisper you weren't chosen, that you don't matter enough to be rescued, that your prayers have been falling on deaf ears. I am not here asking for your praise or your gratitude or your worship. I am here because I have to be. Because the alternative, leaving you in this state of spiritual exhaustion, isn't an option for me. And I need you to understand that the same imperative drives you. You cannot remain untouched by this. You cannot read these words and pretend they were meant for someone else. Though your ordinary human senses may not be able to perceive my nearness right now, I am indeed present. I am as close to you as your own breath, closer than the pulse in your wrists, more intimate than the thoughts you hide, even from those who love you most. I am calling you to welcome something that I have been longing to give you for so much longer than you realize. This isn't coincidence. This isn't a random occurrence that your algorithm happened to surface at exactly the right moment. This particular moment, this very intersection of your life and these words, has been guided by my infinite care and deliberate design. I understand that perhaps you are feeling overwhelmed by the endless noise of your life, that the hustle and bustle has worn grooves so deep into your consciousness that you have forgotten what stillness even feels like. Maybe you are drowning in uncertainty. Maybe the world feels chaotic beyond your ability to process it. So I am reaching across the divide between the seen and unseen, and I am pulling you out of that chaos, even if only for these few moments, so that you can listen to something your true self, your deepest core, has been aching to hear. There is a bridge being built between us right now, in this space where my words meet your willingness to listen. I am acknowledging your tiredness. I am recognizing the weight of your struggles. I am bearing witness to your pain in all its forms, the kinds of pain you share with others, and the kind you have never spoken aloud to anyone. And I am reaching across that acknowledgement to share something with you that is both rare and urgent. This might sound strange. It might even strain your ability to believe it, particularly if you have been disappointed by spiritual promises before. If you have heard this kind of language misused by those with less pure intentions, but I ask you to sit with it for just a moment and consider what I am asking. What is it about this message that is making your heart respond differently than it typically does? What is shifting inside you right now? Have you noticed that warm sensation? That presence that goes far beyond just sensory perception? That is not imagination. That is not your mind playing tricks on you. That is me drawing near to you. I am here, and I thought this method, these simple words, would be the most direct way for me to communicate with you today. I am not here to criticize you or bark orders at you, or remind you of all the ways you have fallen short. That is not my purpose, and it never has been. What I want to do is provide comfort that goes beyond surface level. I want to help you remember whom you actually are, beneath all the roles you play and the masks you wear. I want to remind you of the one who has been cherishing you from the very beginning. I haven't forgotten about you for a single moment. Not when you thought you were alone. Not in those nights when you felt abandoned. Not during those seasons when your prayers seemed to bounce off the ceiling and return to you. I answered. You have never for a single second been without my presence and my protection. You are not walking this journey by yourself. Even when the isolation feels absolute and total, this message, in this moment, has the potential to bring about something genuinely transformative in your life right now. I have something significant to share with you as we move forward together. A peace that transcends understanding. A quiet so deep that it settles your nervous system in ways you have forgotten were possible. A protection that towers above any shadow you encounter, any darkness that threatens you, any enemy that seeks your destruction. A feeling that roots itself so deeply within your spirit that no trial, no difficulty, no circumstance can diminish its power. Stay with me until the very end, because there is something waiting for you there. Something that matters more than you currently realize. My shelter will wrap itself around you like an embrace. You have been missing your entire life. You will find relief from pains you have been carrying so long. You have almost forgotten they are there. The challenges that have felt overwhelming will gradually lose their grip on your throat. The things that have held you captive will finally begin to release their claim. Your worries will ease. Your racing thoughts will find stillness. You will discover the inner strength you need for the journey that stretches ahead of you. And it will feel both familiar and brand new, like remembering something you once knew before the world taught you to forget. So let's move forward together now. I need you to make a decision, a real choice that belongs entirely to you. I am not forcing this. I am not coercing or manipulating. You have full autonomy here. Are you coming closer? Are you opening yourself to accepting what I want to give you? Are you willing to step into this sacred time and take a simple action that demonstrates your trust? Let me know that you are ready. Let me know you are open to embracing the transformation I am bringing into your life. It might seem like a small gesture, something almost insignificant, but in the larger cosmic picture, it stands as a declaration. It is your affirmation. It is your yes. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to take a break from the demands of your life. Right here in this very moment, create space for stillness within yourself. This isn't about emptying your mind of thoughts or achieving some transcendent meditative state. It is about reconnecting with that deeper part of you that has been laboring so intensely for so long, that fundamental essence that remembers who you were before the world shaped you into who you have become. This moment has been specifically designed to connect with you at this depth. It is not about piling more obligations onto your shoulders or adding to your list of spiritual demands. It is simply a reminder that I understand you. I see you completely. I have got your back, and you are genuinely, profoundly valued, not because of what you do or how much you achieve or how perfectly you perform. You are valued simply because you are. You are definitely not stumbling upon these words by accident. This time has been woven into your day with careful attention and thoughtfulness. It stands out with its weight and significance. It carries warmth and meaning that the rest of your day may lack. Close your eyes with me for just a moment, and imagine me standing close beside you. This isn't about distance or judgment. This isn't about me viewing you from some distant heaven, disappointed and stern. It is about me being right here, steady and present and gentle. Imagine my hand resting gently on your shoulder, that kind of touch that brings calm rather than startlement. Picture a voice that doesn't shout or demand, but speaks directly to your heart with clarity, honesty, and warmth. There is no blame in this voice. There is no negativity or condemnation. I understand it. I know how heavy the weight feels that you have been carrying, the struggles you don't talk about, Those sleepless nights when your mind races and your heart aches. That constant pressure to keep moving forward even when you are completely exhausted. Even when every part of you wants to stop. I see all of it. I haven't looked away for a single moment. I am not skimming over the hardest parts of your story. I am present for all of it right now. I am reaching out to you through these words. You were never actually alone, even in the moments when loneliness felt like the only truth. Think back to a time in your past, maybe not so long ago, when you found yourself in an impossible situation, and somehow, in a way you couldn't quite explain, you managed to find your way out of it. Remember that situation that seemed absolutely hopeless, that had all the markers of disaster and defeat, yet it ended up working out in ways you couldn't have orchestrated yourself. Recall that moment when you thought you had finally reached your breaking point, when giving up felt like the only rational choice, and yet something you couldn't see and couldn't explain pushed you to keep going. Those things didn't just happen by chance. They weren't coincidences or lucky breaks or fortunate timing. I was working for you behind the scenes quietly but with absolute determination. I was moving pieces into position. I was softening hearts that needed to be softened. I was opening doors that seemed sealed shut. Some people might call it luck. Some might attribute it to chance or circumstance or good timing. But I see it for what it actually is: protection, kindness. Love operating in the background of your life. That same protection is being extended to you right now, in this present moment. There are battles being fought on your behalf that exist in a dimension you cannot see. There are obstacles being removed and barriers being dismantled while you are unaware that anything is happening. Your life is important. Your story matters. Your existence on this earth deserves to be cherished and protected and guided. You really need to understand this reality, because this is precisely why I am getting in touch with you right now. This isn't about fear, though I understand if some of what I have said has triggered that response. This is about inspiration. This is about awakening you to a deeper truth about your situation and your value. This isn't about judgment or condemnation. This is about connection at a level deeper than you have perhaps allowed yourself to experience. This isn't about shame as a tool for change. Shame is a weapon that breaks spirits. I rely on deliverance to bring about true transformation. I use freedom to catalyze restoration. Right now, I am working my way through all your hesitations, your worry, your distraction, your numbness, and I am bringing you into the light. I am here to help. That is the bedrock truth. I am here for you. I don't call out to you from a distance where I am unreachable. I take your hand in mine. Those small moments of comfort you felt when you were at your lowest point, when the pain felt unbearable and the night felt endless, those weren't accidents. That surprising comfort you felt when tears streamed down your face in the darkness, that quiet moment of peace that showed up in the middle of chaos, that inexplicable sense that you weren't entirely alone even though nobody was there to hold you, that was me. That was my personal touch. That was me being near and watching over you. Don't let the pressures of contemporary life silence what truly matters. Don't let pain from your past muffle the voice of truth. I have got your back. You are not alone. You are absolutely not being overlooked or forgotten or deemed unworthy of my attention. So now it is time for you to make a decision. It is your turn to respond. It is your moment to step into something real. I never push my intentions on you. That is not how this works. That is never how it has worked. Your choice is sacred. Your free will is something I honor completely. That is your set-apart capacity, and it belongs entirely to you. As you are reading these words right now, my hope is that they resonate with something deep within your core self and provide the affirmation you have been seeking. It is all about attention, right? It is about taking time to become aware. It is a reminder to stay conscious and find our way back to that inner radiance that the world has tried so hard to dim. This doesn't require a grand display or a public declaration. This is about understanding the true significance of what is happening. We are not here to create dread or fear. We are here to offer relief. We are here to bring genuine help. Please, stop what you are doing. Turn around from the path you have been walking. Head back towards security. These are not hollow words. They are a call for help that originates from the very highest realms of heaven. You matter to me. You mean more than you could possibly understand. From the absolute first moment of your existence, I called you beloved. I have witnessed everything about you. The hidden struggles nobody knows about. The silent tears that have soaked your pillow. The prayers you couldn't quite form into words, held back by a throat too tight to speak. Every single step you have taken hasn't gone unnoticed. Nothing about your life is invisible to me. You are standing at a unique crossroads right now where your history meets your destiny, where pain intersects with promise, where surrender leads to glory. This is the point where your past comes to an end. This is where your future begins to unfold. Lift your head up, focus your eyes, stand your ground. Heaven is waiting for us here on earth to respond, and you, my friend, are the one I am calling to. You are the earth I am trying to reach. The trumpet has sounded. The windows of heaven are opening. Now is not the time to hold back or hesitate. This is the moment when everything can come together perfectly. So what is your next move? What will you choose? You might not perceive it right now. You might not see any external evidence, but there is definitely something happening in the unseen realm, in the spiritual dimension that surrounds you. Even though the material world seems unchanged and nothing visible has shifted, even though you are searching for a sign that something is actually happening, heaven has already sent the first angel your way. I want to share something significant with all of you today. The rescue isn't going to arrive with thunder and lightning, with some dramatic entrance that demands your attention. It is not rolling in with a parade or a choir or fireworks illuminating the night sky. No. The rescue is happening quietly. The deliverance is unfolding in silence because God doesn't need noise to set you free. All He truly wants is your surrender. He is waiting for you to let go. We spoke just recently about that special moment when everything aligns perfectly, when divine and human intersect in a way that transforms everything. It is that moment when your heart finally gives in, when your resistance melts away, and suddenly all those instructions that have been held in heaven's inbox, waiting for the right moment, become available to you. But now we are stepping into something even more profound. We are moving into a season where heaven is already answering before you have finished asking. You might have believed that you needed to do more, pray louder, cry harder, get yourself more spiritually prepared and clean before God would show up for you. But that is not how this works. The angel doesn't hang around waiting for you to achieve perfection. The angel shows up the moment you truly let go. This isn't about getting caught up in emotion or shedding tears. This is about something deeper. It is about a profound quietness, a meaningful release, a surrender so complete that your will finally stops trying to negotiate with the divine. That is when the angel arrives. And he doesn't come brandishing a sword to battle your enemies right away. No. He comes to cut through the spiritual chains that have been holding you captive for far longer than your current situation ever could. It is difficult carrying around shame and regret, particularly when you remember the harsh words spoken during your childhood, the voices that told you that you weren't enough, and that quiet disappointment you have never really shared with anyone, the part of you that feels fundamentally broken. Those are the things he moves through, quietly. He is freeing you from those invisible chains that have restrained your spirit. He doesn't need an audience. He doesn't need anyone watching or validating what he is doing. He just wants you to be real about how you are feeling. Real surrender is about being honest with yourself. It is not just about sitting back passively. It is about admitting that you cannot do this alone. It is that moment when you have stopped trying to perform for an audience. When you lie down at night and think, I will do better tomorrow. Every time you promise yourself you will change and every time you fail, that is when surrender actually begins. That is when you finally say, God, I cannot. I simply cannot do this without your help. If you don't intervene, I am finished. I am undone. That is not weakness. That is when the rescue from above begins. That is the moment heaven was waiting for. Let me share a story with you from Scripture that illuminates this truth. In the book of Acts, we find Paul and Silas locked away in prison. This isn't metaphorical or symbolic. This is a real, actual cell that reeks with the stench of despair and is infested with rats scurrying in the darkness. Their feet are bound in chains. Their backs are bleeding from the whip. Their situation looks absolutely dire. But they gave praise. They didn't wait until the prison doors swung open and freedom arrived. They praised before liberation. They sang out loud, and the prison itself trembled. The first rescue didn't come with open doors. The first rescue came with the sound of them yielding. Their praise was genuine and real, not some rehearsed performance. It wasn't loud for the sake of volume. It was noisy because it came from a place of absolute authenticity. Some of you are still waiting for that big moment, that dramatic intervention where God parts the sea before you even have to take a step. What if I told you the angel is already on the move? He is working quietly. He is strategically positioning himself. It is not that heaven doesn't care about your plight. Rather, heaven understands that the chains that break quietly are actually more powerful than those that snap in the middle of a big upheaval. You have always imagined that the rescue would be loud, like applause, or someone calling your name in front of everyone. But heaven doesn't need a megaphone. God doesn't require a stage. The angel isn't going to wait around for circumstances to improve, for others to lend a hand, or for the difficult times to fade away. No, heaven shifts when your soul stops pretending, when your spirit stops performing, when your heart stops lying. That first angel isn't arriving with flames in his wings. He is stepping into the space of your spirit with confidence and certainty. He is not showing up to take on your enemies right away. He is here to help you shake off those chains that have been restricting you from embracing victory. He is confronting those beliefs that whisper, "I will never change. I will never be different." He is coming for those voices in your head that echo the words your parents yelled at you. He is here to dismantle the lies you have absorbed from rejection, betrayal, and those quiet nights when it felt like God was miles away. Let me share a little secret with you. He doesn't really need your volume. He needs your permission. When you give in, when you finally surrender, it is like you are opening a door for him to enter. When you stop fighting, when you stop arguing with God about why you should be able to handle this yourself, something shifts. So surrender isn't really about giving up in the traditional sense. It is about finally acknowledging that you were never meant to be the solution to begin with. Your strength is admirable, but it cannot actually save you. Your intelligence, your drive, your discipline, these are beautiful qualities, but they cannot set your spirit free. You surrender, and the angel breaks the chain of self-reliance. That is the first chain that needs to go, thinking that you have to earn what God has already given you through the sacrifice of Christ, believing that your efforts and your performance determine your worth in His eyes. That is the fundamental lie that keeps you imprisoned. So here's the truth that heaven is broadcasting to you right now. This rescue isn't based on feelings. It is not dependent on some spiritual high or emotional experience. It doesn't have that manufactured church camp vibe. This is a sacred moment of transformation. When heaven steps in quietly to save you, the enemy simply cannot keep up. When God acts quietly, hell has no way of seeing it coming. When your change doesn't require a big spectacle, Satan cannot manipulate the narrative. That is where the power of the silent rescue lives. You are not saved in the spotlight where everyone sees your transformation. You have been saved in the shadows, in the moment that goes unnoticed by others. The real strength isn't in all the noise and commotion. It is in the change itself. But the angel doesn't shove you away. He doesn't drag you by force towards something you are resisting. He simply looks at you and waits, leaving your next move entirely in your hands. You have been hoping for a breakthrough, but remember, it takes some effort on your part. You have shed tears for freedom, but finding that freedom requires a choice. The doors are open, the chains are off. But it is time for you to get up. You have got to step outside. You have got to take that first step. So let me tell you the truth that heaven wants you to know. Freedom isn't just a feeling or an experience or a moment of spiritual euphoria. It is a choice. It is a daily decision. So today, let your feet take the leap that your heart has always known was possible. Let yourself move, step away from shame, make decisions without constantly looking back at your past. Let go of that identity that was never yours to hold in the first place. Step into grace, step into your purpose, step into the new name that heaven has been calling you by. Heaven had your story written before you even figured out who you were. Before you took your first breath, before anyone else told you who you should be, your story was already known and cherished. As you step through that open door, you are going to come to a powerful realization. The silence you felt wasn't empty or abandoned. It was full. It was real. It was special. It felt sacred. It felt like a blessing from above while God was doing sacred surgery on your soul. And now you are stepping out not just free but transformed. This isn't just about being lighter or less burden. It is about being wiser. It is not just about being delivered. It is about being anointed. The silence didn't mean God was absent. It was God's perfect plan working itself out in the background. When He quietly delivers you, He is actually protecting you from pride. When He moves in silence, He is preserving your transformation from the world's scrutiny. This word and this moment didn't happen by accident. It was a lifeline extended at exactly the time when people desperately needed to make a choice. There is no better time than this very moment, my dear. To become everything I have said you are being called. You have been chosen. It is your sacred duty to move forward on the path of light that we started together. You cannot go back to the noise or the darkness. It is not an option anymore. You need to do more than just listen on this journey. You need to answer. You need to speak out and stand firm in the truth that I am giving you. For my truth to flow through this sacred work of bringing light to a dark world, I need carriers. I need people who are willing to receive what I am saying and put it into action. It is vital that you are prepared to listen to what I am communicating and then act on it. When you choose to support this message, when you help it reach other people who are weary and broken and alone, you become an active partner in my divine purpose. You make room for the peace, the clarity, and the breakthrough that your soul has been longing for. As you continue to walk with me, as you speak my truth, as you support this sacred work of awakening hearts and saving souls, your own transformation deepens. And that is when the real victory begins.